He had it all by 15, fame, fortune, and millions of fans. But behind the spotlight, Justin Bieber was quietly falling apart. Drugs, depression, and chaos nearly destroyed him. But what if the most powerful part of his story is not his fall, but how he rose again? This is not just a celebrity tale, it's a human journey of pain, healing, and redemption. Stay with us. Justin Bieber's journey to international stardom began with a moment that changed his life forever. The release of the hit song, Baby, in 2010, when he was just 15 years old. Overnight, this Canadian teenager transformed from a small-town boy into one of the most recognizable faces in global pop culture. The catchy chorus, his charming looks, and youthful energy captured the hearts of millions. However, beneath the surface of this fairy tale rise lay a deeper, more complex story, one of a boy thrust into a world that very few teenagers are prepared to handle. Fame came incredibly fast. One minute he was singing covers on YouTube, the next he was performing on international stages, doing talk show interviews, and dealing with paparazzi. While this success brought financial wealth and global recognition, it also came at a profound personal cost. At an age when most teenagers are discovering who they are, going to school, making friends, dealing with teenage struggles in a relatively private space, Justin was living under a microscope. This leads us to one of the most important aspects of his early fame, the loss of a normal adolescence. Justin didn't get to experience teenage life like most of his peers. He didn't go to prom, walk through high school halls, or hang out at the mall unnoticed. Every aspect of his life was watched, analyzed, and judged. The world became his classroom, and his mistakes, which for most teens would be small and private, were played out on the front pages of tabloids. Another crucial point is the constant public attention and lack of privacy. Fame, especially at a young age, often comes with the illusion of freedom and glamour. In reality, it can be a suffocating experience. Justin couldn't walk down the street without being followed. His every move was photographed and scrutinized. For a teenager, this kind of exposure can create deep psychological stress and confusion. There was no space to breathe, no room to make mistakes quietly, and no time to grow up away from the spotlight. Adding to the pressure was the overwhelming expectation from fans and media. He wasn't just a musician, he was a brand, a symbol of perfection for millions of fans around the world. This immense pressure to always be good, to smile, perform, and appear flawless created an emotional burden that would later play a role in his personal struggles. The public often forgets that celebrities, especially young ones, are still human beings, vulnerable, evolving, and learning. In summary, Justin Bieber's meteoric rise to fame was both a dream and a curse. While his talent brought him global success, the speed and intensity of that fame robbed him of a healthy private youth. The price of being a pop sensation at 15 was losing the chance to be a normal boy, and that loss would shape many of the challenges he faced in the years to come. But fame isn't always a fairy tale. Behind the global tours and screaming fans, a darker story was unfolding, one of pain, pressure, and self-destruction. As the pressures of early fame mounted, Justin Bieber entered one of the darkest chapters of his life, marked by addiction, reckless behavior, toxic relationships, and severe mental health issues. While millions around the world saw him as a global superstar, behind the scenes he was battling demons that many never imagined. These years would nearly destroy him. At the center of his decline was substance abuse. Justin openly admitted to using a range of drugs, from marijuana and ecstasy to more dangerous substances like ketamine. He revealed in later interviews that at one point, he was so deep into addiction that his security team had to check his pulse during the night to ensure he was still alive. What started as casual experimentation soon became a means of escape, a way to numb the overwhelming pressure, scrutiny, and emotional pain that came with his fame. His use of drugs wasn't just recreational. It was a cry for help from someone who had never been taught how to cope. Hand in hand with drug use came reckless behavior. The public watched Justin's image shift from teen heartthrob to troubled star. He was arrested for DUI during an illegal drag race in Miami, caught vandalizing property, and recorded behaving disrespectfully to fans and strangers. These weren't just youthful mistakes. They reflected a deeper turmoil and rebellion. Fame had placed him in a bubble where accountability was rare, and emotional maturity couldn't keep pace with his fame. The world saw a star spiraling, but few stopped to ask why. Justin's on-again, off-again relationship with Selena Gomez further complicated his emotional world. Though the couple was adored by fans, their relationship was far from stable. The constant breakups and reunions were played out in the spotlight, feeding media frenzy and personal anxiety. This toxic cycle wasn't just damaging for their reputations, it created deep emotional instability for Justin. He often seemed torn between clinging to love and pushing it away, revealing a young man who had never truly learned how to manage intimacy or emotional pain. Underlying all of this was a growing mental health crisis. Justin later revealed that he had suffered from deep depression, anxiety, and a constant feeling of emptiness. He described waking up and not knowing who he was anymore, disconnected from his own identity, exhausted by the act of being Justin Bieber, the superstar. Fame had given him everything, yet left him feeling hollow. These internal battles, unseen by fans but devastating in private, drove him deeper into isolation. In conclusion, the combination of drug addiction, reckless actions, turbulent love, and emotional suffering nearly cost Justin Bieber everything. These weren't isolated issues, but interconnected symptoms of a young man lost in fame without a support system. His darkest years serve as a painful reminder that behind celebrity glamour often lies a fragile human being in need of healing, compassion, and understanding. Just when it seemed like Justin was lost forever, something unexpected happened. He didn't give up. Instead, he reached for faith, for love, and for help. After years of addiction, emotional instability, and public controversies, Justin Bieber reached a breaking point. What followed, however, was not the collapse many had predicted, but a slow and courageous journey of healing. His path to redemption was not defined by a sudden transformation, but by deliberate choices, turning to faith, accepting love and support from those closest to him, and seeking professional help through therapy and rehabilitation. Together, these pillars helped rebuild the young star from within. One of the most transformative elements of Justin's recovery was his return to faith. He found refuge in the Hillsong Church, a modern Christian community known for attracting celebrities. For Justin, this was more than just attending services. It was a spiritual reawakening. In interviews, he described feeling lost and hopeless before reconnecting with his belief in God. Faith gave him something fame could not: purpose, forgiveness, and a moral compass. It helped him redefine his identity, not as a global icon, but as a flawed human being capable of growth. His journey was no longer about perfection, but about redemption and grace. Equally important was the support from his wife, Hailey Baldwin, now Hailey Bieber. In a world where many relationships are fleeting and conditional, Hailey's unwavering presence became a stabilizing force in Justin's life. She stood by him during his darkest periods, not only as a romantic partner, but also as a source of emotional grounding. Their marriage was not just a public event, but a private commitment to healing together. Justin often credits Hailey with helping him stay disciplined, focused, and faithful to his recovery process. Her patience and strength allowed him to be vulnerable, a rare gift for someone who had built walls for years. In addition to spiritual and emotional support, Justin took a vital and courageous step. He sought therapy and entered rehabilitation. This decision marked a turning point. By publicly acknowledging his need for help, Justin shattered the stigma that often surrounds mental health, especially among celebrities. He wasn't trying to hide his struggles anymore. He was confronting them head-on. Through therapy, he learned to manage anxiety, process past traumas, and rebuild self-worth. Importantly, he also used his platform to encourage others to seek help, reminding fans that vulnerability is not weakness, but strength. What's powerful about Justin's redemption is not that he became perfect, but that he became honest. He showed the world that change is possible, but it requires humility, discipline, and support. His story is not just about fame and downfall. It's about the long road back to self-love and spiritual clarity. In the end, Justin Bieber's recovery was not a headline. It was a human journey marked by faith, love, and the courage to heal. Out of the ashes, a new Justin Bieber began to emerge, wiser, humbler, and more honest than ever before. After enduring years of turmoil and inner struggle, Justin Bieber's story did not end in tragedy. It evolved into a narrative of renewal and purpose. Marking a powerful shift from his chaotic past, Bieber embarked on a new chapter defined by personal growth, gratitude, and responsibility. This rebirth is vividly captured in his music, his public image, and his growing commitment to helping others. The release of his albums Purpose, 2015, and Changes, 2020, signaled more than just artistic output. They represented a man healing, reflecting, and redefining himself. The album Purpose was the first clear sign of this transformation. Gone were the shallow pop anthems of his early career, replaced by lyrics that revealed pain, regret, and a desire to change. Songs like Sorry, Love Yourself, and the title track Purpose showcased a more introspective Justin. This album wasn't just a commercial success. It was a public confession and an invitation to witness his inner journey. It laid the foundation for Changes, released 5 years later, which offered an even more intimate glimpse into his emotional evolution, especially his growth as a husband, a man of faith, and a survivor of his own demons. This new era brought with it a transformed image. Once known for his arrogance, reckless behavior, and legal troubles, Justin reintroduced himself as someone more mature, grounded, and deeply grateful. His public appearances became more thoughtful, his interviews more reflective. He openly expressed remorse for his past and appreciation for those who stuck by him, especially his fans. Rather than running from his history, he embraced it as part of his journey. This humility made him more relatable, not just as a celebrity, but as a human being trying to become better. Perhaps most inspiring is Justin's commitment to giving back. With his platform, he began to speak out about causes close to his heart, particularly mental health. Having personally battled anxiety, depression, and addiction, he now uses his voice to advocate for awareness and support. He's donated to charities, partnered with organizations that promote mental wellness, and used his concerts and social media to normalize the conversation around emotional struggles. This shift from self-destruction to service underscores the depth of his growth. In sum, Justin Bieber's new beginning is not just a marketing rebrand, it is a genuine evolution. Through his music, behavior, and advocacy, he has shown the world that redemption is possible. He went from being a symbol of youthful fame gone wrong to a beacon of recovery and resilience. His story reminds us that even when we fall hard, we can rise with intention, support, and the courage to face our truth. In doing so, Bieber not only saved himself, he's also inspired countless others to believe in second chances. His story is no longer about mistakes. It's about meaning, a message to anyone who's ever felt broken. You're not alone, and it's never too late to start over. Justin Bieber's life is no longer just a tale of teenage fame and public scandal. It has become a powerful narrative of resilience, growth, and personal rebirth. Once labeled as the troubled teen pop star, Bieber has steadily transformed that image through honesty, humility, and continuous self-improvement. Today, his story stands as an inspiring message to millions. It is never too late to change. In his early years, Justin embodied the classic cautionary tale of fame at a young age. Immense success followed by a public unraveling. Arrests, substance abuse, toxic relationships, and reckless decisions dominated headlines. But what makes his journey remarkable is not just that he survived these dark years, but that he took ownership of them. He didn't run from his mistakes. He acknowledged them, reflected on them, and began the difficult process of rebuilding from the inside out. Now, Justin represents more than just celebrity recovery. He's become a symbol of hope for those who feel lost, broken, or judged. His evolution proves that no matter how far one falls, redemption is possible with effort, accountability, and support. Whether through therapy, faith, or the love of those around him, he chose the harder path. Not to escape, but to face his pain and grow from it. A key aspect of Justin's transformation is his authenticity. He doesn't pretend to be perfect. In fact, his most powerful message is that perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. As he famously said, "I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to be better every day. This simple statement resonates with anyone who has ever struggled, reminding us that healing is a journey, not a finish line. It's about waking up each day and choosing to do a little better, love a little more, and forgive, especially ourselves. What makes this message even more impactful is the platform from which he delivers it. As one of the most recognized figures in modern pop culture, Justin uses his influence to show that vulnerability is strength. By publicly discussing his mental health, spiritual journey, and personal failures, he encourages others, especially young people, to break free from shame and speak openly about their struggles. In many ways, Justin Bieber's journey mirrors that of countless individuals who battle internal chaos while presenting a polished exterior. His courage to break that illusion and embrace his truth is what makes his story so inspiring. It's not just a comeback, it's a redefinition of identity, grounded in humility and fueled by hope. In conclusion, Justin Bieber's evolution from scandal-ridden stardom to a voice of resilience sends a timeless message. Change is always possible, no matter how messy the past. And that message, delivered not with perfection but with honesty, may be his greatest legacy yet. Justin Bieber's journey isn't just about surviving fame, it's about becoming stronger through the fall. His voice, once known for pop hits, now echoes something deeper: growth, redemption, and hope. Maybe you're not perfect either, but like Justin said, I'm trying to be better every day. Aren't we all? If this video resonated with you, please like, share, comment, and follow. Your support gives me the motivation to tell more real, emotional stories of inspiring public figures. Thank you so much for being here.